Hello, hope you're having a good day. I have recorded another day of training for you to hopefully get some inspiration, motivation, or just to relax. And do you know what Parkinson's law is? It's a principle in productivity that the work that you have to do will fill the allotted time that you have to do it. So let's say you have a project that takes 8 hours and you have an 8-hour workday. You'll spend about all 8 hours working on that project. But if something were to come up, a family emergency, something, and you only have 4 hours to complete it, you would complete that project in the 4 hours anyway. And that goes along with what I was saying yesterday. I kind of had this epiphany yesterday that, I only had a few hours to train, but the training video was, about as long as any other kind of training video. And that got me thinking about I should be, trying to do more with the time I have to train, not spending so much time resting or whatnot. So yesterday I was talking about how if you didn't have your full time that you normally spend to go to the gym or to exercise or do whatever you like to do, to create, a shorter version of what you were trying to do if you were crunched on time. And I feel like often you can still get amazing results, even if you only have 5 minutes to train. Most of my training videos are 5 minutes. And just spend that time to be prepared to you don't have to fret, spend a lot of mental energy being unprepared of what you would do if you only had 30 minutes to train or do your exercise program that normally take an hour. So just have a condensed version that still kind of goes through what you would do. And it will help you be more consistent and get through a lot of rough patches. So remember, please like, comment, and subscribe. Helps out the channel, all that, yada, yada, yada. Today, I spent more time. Normally, I would do one session and then rest and then do another session. But today, I chose to do 2 sessions back to back. So as you saw at the beginning, I did some power movements along with the V-sit and also some leg movements. So I just did a upper body, lower body superset. So right here, I'm working on the Cossack squats with some leg lifts, which I was wanting to work with. Followed by, this is later in the day, I'm doing some lower body squats with some fingertip push-ups, really trying to build up those fingertips. This here is, it was pretty easy. I was having a hard time progressing the fingertips. I'll have to, maybe do some more difficult push-up variations to put some more weight onto the fingers or spend more time. But this wasn't actually too much of a challenge of the fingertips. It was a decent challenge on the hands and, the push-up strength, the push-up musculature. So I'll still have to think about how to progress on these push-ups here. Maybe I'll do some archer push-ups, some crawling on the fingertips. But you'll hopefully see that later on, next couple days. It's 360, very circular number. And I felt pretty good about today. I put more time training than I normally would, especially all indoors. It's kind of difficult when it's quite cold. I did have to spend a lot of time warming up because it's quite cold where I'm at. It's below freezing. And I like to warm up mainly with blankets. And then, to boost my productivity, I would, warm up a good amount with the blankets, then still do a warm-up like you saw at the very beginning of the video. And I'm just going through some lower body flows and fingertip push-ups superset to build some strength. But the movement flows with the lower body are to build coordination and resilience within the joints. Now, this is kind of a new footwork for me that I've really been enjoying. This is a really good lower body movement because it works through a lot of planes of motion. Even without the twist, just these step-ups do work in the rotational plane of motion and the frontal plane to some degree. And working in the rotational plane of motion is something that a lot of people neglect. A lot of people don't train the rotational plane of motion, which is very important for, a lot of real life involves the rotational plane. And some of the best and coolest movements use the rotational plane of motion. I followed the footwork up with some jumping plyometrics that I'm going to try to get into more consistently with some plyometrics. Lower intensity so I can recover from them, because normally I would do the plyometrics and need to take a week to recover, but I'm going to keep it a little easier, and hopefully that will allow me to adapt much quicker. And this also served as the warm-up. I was fairly warm with some blankets, and then the footwork really heated me up. When it comes to warming up, you don't actually need necessarily to do any sort of movement. To warm up properly, you just actually need to be warm. Being able to go through the motions that you'll be practicing are good to warm up the mind and the nervous system. But this right here is kind of warming up the legs so that I can get into the middle splits, which was the main goal for me in mobility practice. The shoulder jump rope I'm just taking it easy on it because I can't really do the bridge too well because the floor is too cold and it gets too slippery for me to do a bridge at this time of year. So I'll just be happy with the shoulder jump rope. It's a fantastic exercise. I really recommend you do it. And the pancake stretch, I plateaued the pancake stretch for a couple years, and ever since I started the middle splits journey, I've been able to come back to the middle splits. So if you ever plateau, it's okay to switch, take a 180, because you'll get into a pattern of movement and there'll be something blocking progression. And often taking like a 180, trying something completely different, you'll explore different parts of your body, learn what works for you, what to train, what you were missing, and then you can come back to it and get more benefits than if you were just to stick with something that you're not seeing any improvement in. I think it was Mike Menser who would say, if you're not seeing any progress, in 2 weeks or 2 months with your program, a lot of people will be complacent and they'll do something for months before they realize something's working or not. If you have a suspect that some part of your training isn't working, you should address it immediately. Plateaus happen, but you shouldn't stay within a plateau. You need to, make some progress, change up your training, get some help from a coach or something. I offer some coaching if you want some online coaching. It's in the bio. And this right here was a move that I got inspired by Roy Gold and Schmidt. I think it was, I'm not sure his relationship with Ido Portal, but he's very influential in the movement culture. And he was doing this, I call it the around town movement. I'm not sure what to call this, but this movement here is pretty good. And thanks for watching.